So Colleen, you called me because you were like, I have to tell you something about protein. And Colleen knows that I love a good scandal in food, but it's not because I'm excited about the scandals, because I also know that Colleen has the solution, or we're going to find the solution, or it's something that people need to hear. So there's a shift. Joy has this look on her face like she's not prepared. So Colleen, to just make me stop talking, can you just address the protein story?
Yes, so thanks for the introduction. So this is what I've been hunting down for a while, because we had some reports back 5-10 years ago about pea protein, plant protein, and in particular organic plant protein having high heavy metals. Certain brands were repeatedly testing as high in heavy metals, and it didn't make any sense. So no one could really figure out what was going on, where it was coming from. And it must be the soil that it's grown in, which it might be. It must be because the roots are longer, and so they're reaching more heavy metal. We didn't know what was going on. But then I spoke with a farmer and up in Canada who is a leader in the plant protein development market. And he said to me, Colleen, I can tell you exactly what's happening. He said, I grow the peas organically in Canada or the US. And then because the process to make pea protein requires, and 100% required, back 5-10 years ago, and I can talk more about the current market, a very harsh chemical to be used. The disposal of that chemical, the wastewater, was illegal in the US and in Canada. So they use the harsh chemical because the bonds of the molecules in the pea protein, or the protein of the carbohydrate, are really strong. They don't like to be separated. So you use this harsh chemical and it strips carbohydrates off. So since they couldn't do it in Canada or the US, they shipped all the organic peas to China, where they processed them in China. And as we know, in China, there's a lot of heavy metals, not just in the environment, so floating in the air, in the water. It's also used in processing in China quite liberally. And so that's where the heavy metal, the bulk of the heavy metal contamination was coming from, is that all the organic pea protein had to be processed in China. And I'm still not sure if that would mean that it couldn't be labeled organic if it stayed in the North America region. So I don't know all the details on that. But that's why we were getting those harsh heavy metal reports. So when you add together that, plus there's often green powder and there's often chocolate in protein shakes, and there's often heavy metals in those, if you put that triple cocktail together, you could be really putting yourself at risk, especially for people who are eating this on a regular basis.
And I just thank you, because Colleen always tells a story very succinctly, and I could take a long time to get that story out. So thank you for that. And it's just to point out to me, the alarm in that is, number one, it can say from peas that are grown organically, and we would all believe that and value that. It does not talk about, like, if any of us knew that it was actually illegal to do here, so it was shipped to China and then back here, how many of you would actually use that protein? Like nobody, right? Like we would. So where's the transparency in our food system?